Agriculture Month is an annual event that was started in 2008 under then Agriculture Minister Robert Bassod. It was established as the period of celebration of not only the work of our farmers here in Guyana, but also agriculture in general. This year's month-long observance comes at a critical juncture in Guyana's history. It comes in the wake of a national flood disaster in which agriculture in all of its forms was brought to its knees. Rainfall recorded was the most in more than 40 years. The entire period of unprecedented rainfall was characterized by what is referred to as high-intensity rainfall, which is one of the many manifestations of climate change. In several areas, rains amounting to 15 inches fell in a matter of hours. Because of the prolonged nature of the rains, which started as early as June this year, the ground had become waterlogged, and as a result, flooding, with regions 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10 experiencing the worst of it. Rice, cash crop, and livestock farmers, homeowners, and residents in the worst affected areas were all devastated by the flood waters, losing almost all of their livelihoods due to the flood waters. The widespread flooding drove home the reality that Guyana's coastal belt, where most of its agriculture is centered, is under threat due to the effects of global warming and the resultant climate change taking place. President Dr. Irfan Ali, in assuring all affected by the floodwaters of government's help in getting back to the land, had also stressed the importance of Guyana turning to climate-smart forms of agriculture, farming and rearing livestock with the weather in mind. So it is that while this year has been a challenging one, there has been strides made in agriculture development on all fronts. The introduction of smart agriculture practices that includes the use of shade houses for a variety of crops has been one of the areas that the Ministry of Agriculture has been providing incentives for. Agriculture Month 2021 will be celebrated mainly through the eyes of the camera as the Ministry of Agriculture seeks to minimize exposure to COVID-19 and in those instances where interaction is unavoidable will ensure that all COVID-19 safety protocols are strictly adhered to. Over the last year of the PPPC government, agriculture development has been rapidly taking place in spite of the constraints posed by the pandemic. Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa has moved the agriculture development agenda forward not only in Guyana, but in the region as well. As chair of the Ministerial Task Force on Agriculture Development in the Caribbean, Minister Mustafa has brought to the fore the wealth-generating potential of agriculture for the people and countries of the region. Guyana's farmers are now assured that Guyana has a place at the table of the regional marketplace, that the way will be made clear for Guyana's fresh and processed produce and foods can make the shelves of the regional supermarkets and ultimately into the homes of the Caribbean people and beyond. While the national flood disaster has cost Guyana billions in losses, the government is sparing no effort to get the nation's farmers back on their feet and has to this end provided more than $7.8 billion in flood relief to rice, cash, and livestock farmers and to residents in general who suffered losses. One agency that has been crucial to this mitigating effort in the interest of the farming community has been the National Agricultural Research and Extension Institute, NARI. The National Agricultural Research and Extension Institute, NARI, is a key agency of the Ministry of Agriculture. It is the focal point of agriculture research and technology transfer to Guyana's agriculture sector. Its focus is on crop development and diversification, the management of pests and disease, the use of science in the development of higher-yielding varieties of plants, including the dwarf varieties of fruit trees and suckers. NARI's plant nursery at its Monrepo East Coast Demerara head office compound is home to some 1,600 varieties of plants on the hardening floor and another 6,000 seedlings at any one time. NARI seedling nurseries can be found at its locations around the country in regions 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9. These nurseries are staffed by a supervisor and several employees tasked not only with tending to the day-to-day care of the plants and young seedlings, but to ensure that the farming community, organizations, and individuals have ready access to quality planting materials. They collaborate to ensure that customers receive prompt and reliable service. Under normal circumstances, approximately 3,000 plants are sold, varying at times based on factors such as weather, season for a particular fruit, etc. Mainstream demand is for citrus, more particularly rough lemons, tangerines, oranges, grapefruit, and shaddock. Since assuming the reins of the Agriculture Ministry, Subject Minister Zulfikar Mustafa has been working tirelessly on redefining and streamlining the operations of this key agency, repositioning the entity to be more responsive to the needs of Guyana's farmers. In 2020, a total of $1.2 billion was included in the emergency budget approved by the National Assembly to support the operations of NARI. The same amount was granted in the 2021 national budget. Under the direction of Minister Mustafa, the plant nurseries at NARI's head office location and its satellite operations around the country were modernized and rearranged to better serve the farming community as well as the ordinary citizen. The value and strategic importance of the Nari plant nursery is currently being experienced firsthand by Guyana's hard-hit cash crop farmers, many of whom had their farms wiped out by floodwaters during the national flood disaster experienced earlier this year. It was Nari's extension officers that visited each and every farm across the country, assessing the losses suffered by farmers with a view to helping government with a list of names of persons identified for flood relief measures from government. While for the most part this relief was in the form of financial assistance, assistance was also provided by NARI in the form of planting material handed over to the affected farmers. The Nari plant nursery is traditionally stocked with permanent crop seedlings. The national flood disaster allowed for NARI to partner with several plant shops around the country in securing for farmers some 200,000 cash crop seedlings, which have already been distributed to flood-affected farmers across the country. These ongoing seedling distribution exercises have cut by almost half the recovery time of Guyana's farmers. If a farmer were to set a seed for germination, turnaround time to harvest is about 2 months. However, if that farmer starts off his crop of tomatoes, for example, with a 3-week-old seedling, then his turnaround time to harvest is just 6 weeks. These interventions by the Ministry of Agriculture through NARI has already impacted the availability and price of vegetables at markets across the country, with a pound of tomatoes now being retailed at $150 per pound, down from $400 just 2 months ago. According to Agriculture Minister Mustafa, NARI's role in the flood relief effort for the country's farmers has been invaluable.
So, as we are in the flood relief, I mentioned at some certain areas that some farmers will be given them planting materials and also seed for paddy. What I want to say that over the last few months, since we have experienced that major flooding, we have started from Nari to distribute a lot of planting material and seeds. As a matter of fact, I went to Region 1. I took a number of different types and variety of seeds in that area. Nari have been distributing thousands of planting material, and as a result of that, I'm happy to say that today we have mitigated the flooding successfully in terms of replanting a number of cash crops around the country. We are now witnessing the reduction in prices, and this is as a result directly our intervention because now we are rolling out the flood relief package, and the flood relief package is mostly monetary contribution we are giving to farmers around the country. Farmers will not use those money mostly to buy seeds, so also we are giving them planting material and seed, and this has a tremendous benefit for the farming community in Guyana, because we were able to move directly from the flooded area where almost all the plants died out, and now we are going back and having these cash crop once again reinvigorated, so to speak, to get them back in action, and we are seeing a reduction in costs at the various markets. So this is a tremendous help, and we'll continue to extend this program over the next few months so that we can continue to give seed, and not only seeds, chemical, baits for acacians in certain areas and other farming implements and farming tools and things we just normally help in communities across the country. So we'll continue this benefit and so that farmers can receive. Our main aim is to ensure that farmers get back to the lands as quickly as possible and start to produce so that we can ensure that we reduce the cost for vegetables and fruits in the market.
While Nari's plant nurseries across the country have featured mostly fruit seedlings, the plan is now to also offer a wide range of cash crop seedlings, including the high-value crops such as broccoli and cauliflower, ginger, turmeric, etc. Not only is Nari supplying seedlings and other planting materials for the nation's farmers, the entity's extension staff are in the fields every day across the regions of the country, providing the technical support to farmers, ensuring that they are able to grow the seedlings and planting material to a successful harvest. The role of the National Agriculture Research and Extension Institute is a constantly evolving one, as it conforms to the vision of Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa in service to the stakeholders of Guyana's agriculture sector. Agriculture Month is observed all across Guyana. In times past, events marking the month of observance would be held in all 10 regions. Government has paid particular attention to providing the machinery and equipment for the advancement of agricultural pursuits in the intermediate and hinterland savannas. In tribute to the agricultural contribution of our indigenous brothers and sisters, we present this song and dance.
For me, Guyana agriculture is one of the most important pillars of the Guyana's economy.
Agriculture is life.
For me, agriculture is providing food for all.
Agriculture is the sustainable production of safe and wholesome foods for security, while protecting human health and environment from the risk associated with pesticides use.
Agriculture is the easiest way to get out of poverty.
Agriculture is really everybody's business.
Agriculture is an important part of our food systems. It feeds us and it provides us with income at a national level, at a family level, at an individual level. When we transform our agriculture systems, when we transform our food systems, we get better nutrition, better environment, better production, and a better life.
Culture for me is a way of life. Everyone has a part to play in producing and consuming safe and nutritious food.
Agriculture Month has a deep meaning for Guyana, for the simple fact that agriculture is a main, very central, big employer of labor. Secondly, agriculture is central in ensuring food and nutrition security for our nation.
Agriculture is food for you.
Agriculture is securing livelihoods.
Agriculture is the future of Guyana's development.
Agriculture is the heart and soul of the economy.
Agriculture is my culture. Agriculture is the backbone of the economy. Agriculture is growing of crops and the rearing of animals.
Agriculture is vital for food security.
Agriculture is survival.
Agriculture is the future.
Here's an important notice. Do you know that it is illegal to import, store, distribute, sell, and purchase antibiotics without a license or prescription, as the case may be? According to the Antibiotic Act of 1952, owners of livestock and other animals are not permitted to purchase and use antibiotics unless prescribed by a veterinarian. It should be noted that the misuse of antibiotics could result in the development of resistance to the very antibiotic, which in turn will pose health risks to the animal and to humans. The GLDA advises that farmers should not administer antibiotics to animals unless prescribed by a veterinarian. Non-compliance with this act will result in fines and imprisonment. A message from the Guyana Livestock Development Authority, Ministry of Agriculture.
Today we commence the observation of Agriculture Month 2021. I want to recognize the contribution of our farmers, fisher folks, agribusinesses who toil and labor every day to ensure we have food available and accessible. You are helping to build a strong and diverse Guyana. We observe Agriculture Month under the theme Transforming Our Agriculture Systems, Achieving Food and Nutrition Security. This theme is quite appropriate given the dire need to change our agriculture and food system so that it addresses the many food security challenges encountered due to the COVID-19 pandemic since March 2020, and then the unprecedented floods in May-June 2021. During October, we join in with the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization to celebrate World Food Day on the 16th of October under the theme Our Actions Are Our Future: Better Production, Better Nutrition, a Better Environment, and a Better Life, reminding us to choose food that will positively affect our health and our planet. This choice will ultimately impact on the way our agri-food systems work. As we look to the future, Guyana will emerge as an oil-based economy. However, agriculture will remain the bedrock and a key sector in our economy. Our vision for the agriculture sector is to have a competitive, dynamic, and diversified, environmentally sustainable agri-food system by 2025. To achieve this vision, the agriculture and food system sector in Guyana must be repositioned and transformed. To build a diversified and competitive agriculture sector with increase in production and exports and reduction in food imports. To address the impacts of climate change with resilience infrastructure by improvements in drainage system, farm-level risk management system for rice, livestock and cash crop farmers, and implementation of National Mangrove Management Action Plan. To increase access and satisfaction in agri-service delivery, especially extension services, and to enable agribusinesses to access markets by improvements of the ease of doing business, environment and implementation of traceability system for crops and livestock. I believe if we focus on these 4 priorities, we will begin to modernize the sector, to change the image of the sector, and to start the transformation process. Guyana's agriculture sector has suffered from the economic shocks caused by COVID-19, as stated above, and the floods of May, June of this year. Our farmers have been greatly affected. As a relief mechanism, the government has begun the distribution of the cash grant to persons who were affected by the flooding. To date, over 27,000 crops, livestock farmers, and households were affected, and we have started distributing assistance. Additionally, the Ministry of Agriculture will be providing assistance through genetic improvements, drainage and irrigation work, technical support, and extension services. We need forward-thinking, game-changing approaches for the agri-food system transformation. Everyone has a role as we diversify and de-risk the agriculture sector. Today, Guyanese agriculture is greatly productive, largely due to the resilience of our farmers and fishers. However, to move to the next level, we cannot keep doing agriculture the way it has been done over the years. We need to be more innovative, to have a high uptake in technology that will transform and modernize our food system. We need the private sector also to be prepared to buy local and reduce imports of similar products. As a country, we are importing too many commodities that can be produced locally. Transforming the agri-food system will require significantly greater public financing as well as private capital from national, regional, and international partners. International support, institutions, and bilateral partners will be critical to ensuring a more resilient agriculture sector through financing, technology, and creating an enabling environment. The government of Guyana stands committed to ensuring that the right solutions are implemented. The government will continue to work to ensure that Guyana's agri-food system is resilient and sustainable, and that we are not only food secure, but that we continue to be a leader in agriculture matters and eventually the food basket once again of the Caribbean. As in 2020, we are observing Agriculture Month in the midst of social restrictions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, many of our activities this year again for Agriculture Month will be held virtually or in limited small gathering in regional outreaches. I join with my colleague Minister of Health and plead with our citizens to protect yourself by getting vaccinated, keeping your mask on, and social distancing as we combat COVID-19 together. We look forward to the participation of all our partners as we celebrate Agriculture Month 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, let me wish you a bright and successful month of activities. On behalf of the Ministry of Agriculture and the organizer, I wish you a happy Agriculture Month 2021. Thank you for your attention.
Government has committed to assisting coconut farmers across the country in their efforts at expanding their cultivations. This help will come through the clearing of vegetation and digging of internal drainage and irrigation channels. Farmers can also expect help in the form of technical support through NARI and the Hope Estate. Further, coconut seedling nurseries have been established in various regions as part of a decentralization program for nurseries. Coconut seedlings are now available. These are the 5, 3, and 18-month varieties. Farmers are reminded that the recommended number of trees per acre is 50. Persons interested in purchasing seedlings may make contact with Hope Estate on telephone number 663-2709. Once the booking is made, seedlings can be picked up from a nursery nearest you. A message from the management of Hope Estate, Ministry of Agriculture. African swine fever is a highly contagious disease of domestic and wild pigs that is characterized by high fever, bleeding, and death within 2 to 10 days. African swine fever has been recorded in some countries of Africa, Asia, and Europe, and recently in the Dominican Republic in the Americas. Guyana is free of this devastating disease, but there is a risk for the disease introduction due to global movement of people, animals, and animal products. African swine fever is spread when pigs come into contact with contaminated pork products, feed, syringes, and infected materials, such as pigs and ticks. Pork products can carry the virus, even if they have been cooked or frozen. Humans can carry the virus on their clothing and footwear and may infect pigs that they come into contact with. Before traveling, know the disease status of the country you are visiting. Do not visit pig farms while in African swine fever affected countries. Travelers from affected countries are advised not to bring back food, pork, and pork products. Remember to properly clean, wash, and disinfect your clothing and footwear prior to returning or visiting Guyana. If you are arriving from an ASF-infected country, kindly report same to the quarantine officer on arrival and do not go near pig farms for 7 days. For further information, contact the Guyana Livestock Development Authority on telephone number 220-6556 or 7, fax 220-6557 or email glda1910@gmail.com.